Have you ever met somebody who inspires you from the moment you meet them? That is how I feel about my guest today, Taylor. She was a teen mom who is building something incredible for her community and doing it all while having grace for herself and others. Join us to hear her incredible story. Hey, mamas, welcome back to Mamas Building Businesses. I am joined today by the amazing Taylor. I was just telling her what a superwoman she is. Taylor, thank you so much for doing this.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about you and your girls. You have three amazing girls.
I do. So, my name's Taylor. You covered that. I'm 32 years old. I have three daughters, Bryn, who is 13, Annie, who is 10, and Emmy, who is 5. She'll be 6 in December. We live in Muncie, and we have two dogs, two cats, a snake, a leopard gecko, and a betta fish. So, we have our
And
little zoo going on here.
yes, and your zoo kind of plays into what you do for your business. So tell us a little bit about that because you have a lot going on.
Yeah, yeah, I would say. So I started grooming in 2018. I kind of did it as like a side hustle kind of thing, just for fun. I turned it into a full-fledged, full-time business in April of 2024. Yes, last year. We were a year open this year. Yes, April of 2024. I went full-time with it. I I started this program called Pay for a Stray, which is a community funded program where if someone finds a dog that maybe has been running for a while, is mad, it is filthy, or any dogs pending adoption can come in and get groomed at no cost to the rescue. It's a community funded program. Excuse me. So the rescuer, the adopted person that's adopting the dog, doesn't have to worry about that, and it gives them a better chance of being adopted. And then dogs that are like matted and unhealthy, it gets them out of that state faster and at no cost. So when I started doing that, it was like this revelation of, okay, this is what I'm passionate about, helping the dogs that, I mean, pets, people take great care of their pets. Um, this whole like dog mom, people's dogs are their babies. Pets are so well taken care of, and I love working with dogs and I love working with people's pets, but there's something about the dogs that no one's taking care of. There is something about those dogs who, when you get that pelt off of them, or their feet touch the ground without their nails curled under for the first time, that's such an amazing experience to be a part of. And I really found like a passion in that. So in June, I launched the idea to open a dog rescue, but not your typical rescue shelter system. We're gonna have at least 10. We're gonna start with 10 state of the art kennels that will be glass with sound machines, comfy beds. This isn't gonna be that cage, everybody barking, it smells terrible. Indoor dog park, outdoor dog park. Apparently, there's a dog park in my house right now. They're just running laps around here. Um, but we'll also have red light therapy, all kinds of things for these dogs. So we're really just trying to change what rescue means around here. That's our goal.
I love it. And I was drawn to your story because you're just doing so many incredible things for the community. And I have never, I mean, I've always had dogs, but I've never been like involved in rescues or anything like that. But I think that to see a mom and a young mom juggle so many things. So let's take it back a minute because you were a young mom like I was. How old were you when you had your first daughter?
So I was 17 when I found out I was pregnant with Bryn, but I was 18 when I had her. Um, she's calling me back from the school. Can I take that really
Yeah,
quick?
go ahead. Go ahead. Okay, so we had to pause really quick because mom life. Taylor's daughter had to get a permission slip for a field trip. So we were talking, Taylor, about you being a young mom. And I guess my biggest question for you, because I was also a young mom, I had my daughter at 17. How do you feel like that has sort of shaped you and prepared you for entrepreneurship? Because it can be a lot.
In a few ways, I hate I kind of hate the expression, but it almost puts a chip on your shoulder. Like there's this stigma around teen moms and young moms and being a failure or relying on the government or relying on child support or whatever. And there's this like stigma around it that I just didn't want to be a part of. I didn't want to be a statistic of, a single mom that failed or, my kids not having the things that they needed or wanted because I was a single mom. And it almost like creates this, almost makes you feel like you have something to prove more than typical motherhood, I guess, or like textbook, like the regular, you get married, then you have the baby, you do things the right way. Um, I guess it just kind of makes this like you make an example of yourself really quickly and you immediately don't want your child to make those same decisions and end up in that same spot. So you want to, set things up for them in a way that they see that there was a better way to go about it. Not necessarily that you're struggling or that it's awful because it's not. But maybe they want different but it also it also creates this like there's no other choice. People are like,
Hmm.
well, how do you do it? What other option do I have? If I
Yeah.
don't pay these bills, they don't get paid. If I don't work, there's no money. And if there's no money, my kids don't eat. It's just not an option. And I think once you get like a little taste of being successful and figuring out like, okay, this is something that I can do. I'm more than capable. I mean, my oldest is 13 now, so I mean, there's been years and years of figuring this out. I mean, luckily for me with her, she has an amazing dad, so we have had a pretty good relationship. It's rocky at times
Hmm.
because of the
Co-parenting's hard, I
territory.
think, no matter what
Sure,
the case
but
is.
I've never had to worry with her at least that like she didn't have a good dad or that example. He's always been there and he's been great. So when she was younger, I did have time. We split custody, and some people on the internet don't understand that when you're not with the father of your children, that means you're not always with your child.
Right.
And you do have time off, so to speak, and learning how to spend that time off working, hustling, for lack of a better term, building and not just either feeling sorry for yourself that things didn't work out or that you had your kids going back and forth. You have to like compartmentalize and figure out, okay, this isn't maybe what I had expected, but it's what we've got and it's what we're working with. So how do we work with it? How do we make it what we need to make it?
Yeah, how do we move forward? And I love that you said you use the word that I always use, which is statistic. I think for me, when I had Elizabeth, um, like the biggest thing was like I didn't want her to be a statistic. Like I didn't want to be a statistic. And that's really what has always driven me to make the decisions that I've made. And they weren't always the right ones. I mean, sometimes you have to pivot, but you try to make the right ones. And so you mentioned people on the internet. So I think this is really important because you do have, like personally, you have a decent sized TikTok following. You have really been public locally since working on the dog rescue. I mean, that's how you and I got connected and just really being like present and out there. How do you deal with I kind of hate the term haters, but like
The
how
haters.
do you how do you overcome because when you and I had coffee, we had the conversation about um letting I actually put something in my story about it about letting people be wrong about you because people sometimes like hold your past against you. They'll hold that you were a teen mom or they'll hold things that you went through in high school or maybe like stupid decisions you made in your 20s and kind of it seems like when you're in a more public platform, that sort of negativity comes out of the woodwork where you didn't hear it as much before. So, how do you work to overcome that and just keep pushing forward?
Well, two things really. First and foremost, my mom. This is we're gonna talk about my mom. Um, I grew up in a very um Old Testament Baptist family. I cannot even begin to fathom how many times I heard the phrase turn the other cheek. Um, my mom is the poster child for just ignore them. And it's so freaking hard. It is so hard. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, it doesn't bother me at all. Ask
Yeah.
my boyfriend. I've spent so much time crying about the things that people on the internet say about me, or things that people bring right to my cell phone. But if you back up and I look at the 3 people who have had something negative to say about me, and then I look at the 30,000 people who
Yeah.
have shared, supported, are 100% on board with everything I'm doing. And it's no one that has come after me has come after what I'm doing. They're either saying something about me personally, that usually you can pinpoint to an insecurity of their own. And the whole, I know, and I hate even telling my kids this because I hated hearing it. And part of me is like, it's just not true. But jealousy is so ugly. It is so stinking ugly. And I cannot fathom waking up in the morning and seeing someone doing something that I'm doing and trying to find anything wrong with it. And I'm glad because that means I'm not sad and miserable. But to say that like it doesn't bother me or it doesn't get to me, it does. And I think anybody who is like, oh, well, just who cares what they say? Well, we all care what they say. I think, especially as women, we are conditioned and we are trained that as we grow up to people please and, dress for the male gaze, dress for, there's just this women are meant to serve everyone else.
Yeah.
And I don't think that there's anyone, and if you truly, if you are watching this, if you're listening to this and you know how to make it not bother you, please call me. My cell phone number is on the internet. You can find it.
Drop
Please
all the
call me.
temps.
But I think the biggest thing is like just backing up, like, and taking a second. Like if you get a nasty message or a nasty comment, don't respond. Not right away. If you, after 48 hours, really think that it deserves your attention, that it is something that you need to address, then go ahead. But back yourself up. Just give it some time. Don't respond right away. Don't respond out of anger. Just give it a second to blow over. In my case, at least, if I don't answer, 17 people are commenting that have my back, taking care of it for me. I don't have to worry about it. But there are ones that, they come straight to my cell phone and I don't have that village behind me that's like, hey, she's doing a really good thing. You don't need to act like that. I don't have that on my cell phone, and it gets screenshotted and sent to my mom or my boyfriend or my group chat with my friends. I'm like, why would they say this to me? I think at the end of the day, we just all need to remember, like, everyone in this is, for the most part, everyone that I know is just trying to make a life for themselves. They're just trying to make sure their kid has money for dance or rodeo or whatever it is. And people just want to work and make a difference and go home to their families. And I think for me, at least, just taking that pause and that breath and not responding right away has been a huge game changer. Let them say it. I mean, it sucks. If you really think you have to respond, come back to it later. Don't respond right now.
Yeah. And I've seen you respond to at least one thing with just real grace, but exactly what you said happened. I mean, a lot of people jumped on it. And
Yeah.
I think too, when you are like, when you have a business or a mission at all, it takes constant work on yourself. And I think that when we are working on ourselves, it's like you have this security in what you're doing. Like, you know your intentions, you know your motives.
Right.
And I like you said, I mean, I always tell my kids, hurt people hurt people. Like whenever somebody says something negative, it's way more about them than it is
Yeah.
who they're talking about. And so I've just watched you handle that with grace, and I just think that it's so incredible. Um, okay, so I have a
I have
question.
a I have a puppy chewing something. 2 seconds.
Go ahead.
Thank you. You don't give them something to chew, they will find something to chew.
You literally have so much going on, which literally leads me to the next thing I was going to ask you. And I know this is a funny question because we talked about this a little bit. Okay. So, Taylor, you have three kids, you have a boyfriend, you have a dog grooming business, you are starting a dog rescue at a completely different location. You're having to remodel it completely. How the heck do you manage it all? How do you find balance? And how do you do it? Because your kids are super active too. Your daughter's in rodeo. Like I see pictures at rodeo on the weekends. How the
So
heck do you
you
manage it?
missed something in there. They say if you don't, another thing about like people talking badly about you is if you own it and you know, like I have three kids to three different guys. Alert the media. Like I know
Yeah.
it's been that way. My first one was my high school sweetheart. My second one was straight up just irresponsible 20s. It happened. My third one was my husband at the time. So, at baby number three, I wasn't thinking like, three kids to three guys. Yeah. No, I got married and I wanted a child with my husband, and, you know, affairs will end a marriage. And then I ended up single mom, three kids, three guys.
It's a
You
lot
can
to
come at
juggle.
me for that. It's nothing that I don't know. It's
Yeah.
nothing that I don't live with every day. But in that, all three of my kids go to three different schools. And
Yes.
not just like one's in elementary, one's in middle. There are three different school districts.
Districts. Yeah. You
Um,
have a lot.
I
And then
try my
you
best.
randomly foster dogs at
Yeah,
your
people
home.
drop off puppies at my house. I tried my best to get a place in one of the districts my older two already go to, and I couldn't find one that I could afford and that I could have my dogs. So I had to land in a third district, and then my youngest started kindergarten. So now every day I'm going to three different school districts, at least in the morning, sometimes twice a day, depending on who's where. Sometimes somebody's got rodeo and he's got soccer. Emmy wants to play a sport, and I'm like, no, not yet. I'm not ready. Um, but there's, and I think it just cycles back to that, what other choice do I have?
Yeah.
I had to, I love my landlords. Our house is great. I got a fenced in yard. I'm allowed to have two aggressive breed German Shepherds, which is very hard to find in a rental. Um, I wasn't not going to rent this place. So it just comes down to, look, it's not even the cards I was dealt. My decisions led me here. So it's
Mhm.
my responsibility now as an adult who probably wouldn't have made the same decisions that I did in my 20s
Yeah.
to deal with those decisions. It's not anyone else's fault. The world doesn't owe me anything. I can complain about it, but that's not going to get my kids to school on time. Thank the good Lord that their open times are staggered in the morning, and we get up, we go to the first one, the second one, the third one, and then I go to work. Um, Thankfully, after school programs exist, but they're really full. I had someone reach out to me. My youngest now goes to a farm after school on the weekend or the weekdays, and it's the greatest thing. She loves it. There's cows, chickens. There's I think the thing that like it all boils down to is everything is figure outable. Everything.
Mhm.
Does it suck? Absolutely. And sometimes it sucks really bad. And there have been more nights than I can tell you, more mornings that I can tell you where I'm like, how am I going to do this? Like, what are we going to do? I've got one that's sick. I'd love to, let her sleep on the couch, but I can't. I got to get her up and get her dressed and get everyone else to school and then bring her back home. And then I got to move all my appointments for work, but you just have to do it. And I know that like some days that sucks and it's really hard. And I'm not saying at the end of the day, you don't go park your ass in the shower and cry. You go ahead,
Yeah.
but you got to pull yourself back together, get those bedtime snacks ready, kiss them goodnight, and you start over. And every single day, you have to keep going. You just have to. And if you need a therapist to talk to, if you feel medication would help you, if you feel whatever, figure it out. There's those kids need you, your business needs you. If you decide, hey, maybe this is too much and I need to go back to a normal job, do that. You know what's best for you, you know what's best for your family. In my case, I could never go back to a normal job. I can't.
Yeah.
I have to be out of work at a certain time to get everybody to practice, to do all the mom things. And we talked about this at coffee. the world is not built for a working mom. You know,
It's
you're
absolutely not.
supposed to you're supposed to work, 8 to 5 or 9 to 5, but the doors for the school don't open until 8:06. And then the kids are out at 3 o'clock. But all the after school programs are full. What the heck are you supposed to do? But we're all out here doing it and we're figuring it out. Whether it's working together, whether it's a mom like Lydia, the woman that reached out to me about my kid coming to her house after school. She just saw a mom that needed something and was like, "Hey, she can get off the bus at my house." Like that village, that community, that's what we need, not the snarky Facebook comments and, reaching out to people
Mhm.
over text and harassing them. That's not it. And that's not the people you want in your life anyway. The people who are going to show up for you, they will. And if you need help, if like every woman, mom, especially single moms that I have ever met, we
Mhm.
all have this like vendetta, like, no, I can do it. I
Yeah.
don't need help. I can do it. You can. And I fully believe that you can, but you don't have to do it alone. And if that means just as simple as the number that I have listed on my grooming business and on the safe house and everything, it's my cell phone number. I need to get some work numbers and
Yeah,
straighten
you
that
need
out.
a business
But with
one.
that being said, if you need someone, I will answer the phone. I will. Do I have the time? No. Will I make the time? Yes. Will you hear my kids fighting in the background? Absolutely. But just find someone that you can talk to. That is the most someone that you can go to and be like, I'm having the worst day of my life. I'm gonna put these children on the sidewalk with a free sign, and someone to know that you're absolutely not serious. You just need to vent. You need someone like that in your life. You really do.
Yeah, I love that. That is really what inspired me to even start this channel, start this community, because I feel like being a mom, especially single moms. So I think being a mom in general is pretty isolating because you feel like you lose so much of yourself. But
Yeah.
especially being a single mom, I mean, I have more or less been a single mom for like 20 years.
Yeah.
So it's very isolating. And then being an entrepreneur, having a business is very, very isolating. Even if you have employees, they don't have the same like worries and concerns and
Yeah.
stresses and responsibilities that you do. And so
Mhm.
when you have the two of those combined, it's rough. And like you said, I mean, 9 to 5s really are not built for moms. And most of us get into business because of the flexibility.
Yeah.
And
100%.
and the flexibility, I think, can be kind of a farce because yes, I can leave work at 3 o'clock
Yeah.
to go
But
pick
you're
my
working
kids up
till
from
1 a.m. at
school, but I'm
home.
yes, but I'm gonna miss dinner. Like you were just saying,
Yeah.
you're catching up on stuff and you have to, put your kids in front of the TV so you can respond to clients. And it can feel very lonely. I also think that it really feels like nobody else is going through the same thing as you.
Yeah.
Because listen, I have an incredible group of friends. I've had like the same 5 friends for 20 years. None of them own businesses.
Yeah.
We're all spread out all over the country. I mean, I can call them and vent, sure, but
Yeah.
if it's not somebody who has like the business experience,
Mhm.
like we went to coffee and we sat and talked for an hour and a half without ever meeting each other because it's like you have
Yeah.
so many similarities when it's somebody who has a business too.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that I wanted to ask you, and we'll start wrapping up, is because your business is so based on such a passion. Like some businesses are just for the profit, right? And
Mhm.
so you have this grooming business and that's where you make your profit. But those profits, I mean, they support you and your girls, but they also support your, yeah, barely squeaking by. But they also support your mission of opening this rescue, which is a nonprofit. You rely on donations. I've seen you do a ton of local fundraisers. How do you stay motivated to trust your gut when, like, the finances don't always work out because it's something you're passionate about?
I don't know. I don't have a solid answer for that because I think the way my brain works is once I have an idea, it's happening one way or the other. I've never sat down and thought, well, what if this doesn't work out? I It's gonna work out. I what's the word? Like maybe like radical. Like I have a radical belief in myself because
Mhm.
I've seen myself get through things that I have no idea how
How
I
that
got through them.
worked.
I have no idea how I got the bills paid that month. I don't, but it always does.
Yeah.
I always make it happen one way or the other. I mean, sometimes the bills are a little late. My car payment was a little bit late this month. That's okay. I'm an idiot, and my car payment's over $1,000 a month. So
I
probably
know
shouldn't have
you
done
told me
that.
that your car payment was more than your rent. And
Probably shouldn't have done that.
yeah.
But at the time, at that point in my life, it was a lot more doable than it is now. So I got if anyone knows like a good car guy, they can get me out of that car. Hook me up. Um, but I think there's just when it's something one that I want to see happen so bad, but two, like the amount that the community needs it. This isn't just something that I want to happen. Like this
Yeah.
is, it's not like I want to open a multi-million dollar sourdough business.
Hmm.
It's a need. The community needs this. The dogs around here need this. We have one resource. They're always full. Um, there's a lot of politics with that one. So, and I see all of these smaller rescues, which are just passionate women working out of their houses. They're all full. Um, it's not something that can't happen. So I feel like right now the finances are not great because we found a place, but now the cost of getting things up and running is going to wipe every ounce of fundraising that I've done out in like a week. And to see like, been doing these fundraisers since June. So July, August, September, October, in the 4 months that we've been raising money, we're going to wipe it out in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But now we have the nonprofits. Now we can apply for grants and I got to get into businesses and do presentations for payroll deductions. And I just have to keep pushing. The money isn't just going to fall into my lap. If someone wants to write a check for like 8 mil, let me know. That'd be great. But that's not going to happen. So my options are keep working because I promised myself, I promised my kids, and I promised this community that this is something that I would make happen. So I'm going to do that. And I'm not no one made me do this. So it's not like I can be like I can't do that. I can't cry about it. This is my
Yeah. Like,
idea,
never
so I'm
mind,
gonna make
guys.
it happen. I was just kidding. Like that's not how this works. So, it's just a just like radical belief that it needs to happen. It's gonna happen, and we're gonna make it happen one way or the other. Is it gonna happen in the next 2 months? Probably not. But hopefully, in the next 8 months, year, we're fully operational, and then it's a no-brainer. Like, why wasn't this open sooner? And the way I have it set up is even if, maybe we don't get a lot of community donations, the dog park or the grooming will help fund it. It's not going to be completely reliant on those things. It's not going to be able to be operated on just those things, but it it'll help. There's always going to be something coming in, whether it's from the grooming shop or the dog park or me out fundraising or, us having that nonprofit now is a game changer. So we have more options than we did even just a week ago.
So I think I started this by saying that you were Superwoman, and now everybody else knows why too, because you literally have so much going on and you are just an incredible inspiration. So to wrap it up, I'm going to ask you to a mom who is watching this, specifically a young mom, say, 17, 18, 19-year-old mom who feels like I don't know how to quite put it into words because when you have a baby that young, you love them so much and you realize really quickly that they're the biggest blessing. But at the time, it can feel like the whole world is closing in on you.
It's
And
very hopeless. It
it's very
is.
scary.
Yeah.
Sometimes you feel ashamed, not feeling like your life is over, not really sure where to go next. So
Yeah.
for that mom, if she's listening to this, what would you tell her?
That it's gonna be okay. And I know that everyone tells you that, and it really doesn't feel like that at all. I'm gonna cry.
I know you're making me cry.
But it is gonna be okay because you love those babies and you're gonna make sure that it's okay. Um, and if you don't have someone in your corner if you don't have someone who understands. This channel, this is going to create an actual community of women who understand and who want to help and who will answer the phone if they're awake. And if you call a couple times, if they're not awake, it'll probably wake them up. But find someone, at least one person, that you can talk to that understands, that even maybe if they don't understand, they try to understand. But it is going to be okay. And if you have a good mom, she's probably right about all that stuff that she was telling you.
You might not like
So,
her tone right now, but she's probably
so
right.
maybe you reach out, tell her you're sorry. She was right about a few things. But my mom has become a huge, huge, I don't even want to say resource because it just doesn't, she's an anchor for me. And if I didn't have her where I could step outside and be like, come get your grandkids because I'm gonna lose it. Just have someone and be very careful about what you post online, I think would be my other big piece of advice. Don't post out of anger, don't post out of stress. You might delete it, but someone might have a screenshot of it. You don't ever want that to get back around to your kids or,
Yeah.
maybe a good friend who you just had a falling out with. Just find someone that you can vent to, that you can trust. Keep things off the internet. Just it's gonna be okay. And if it's not okay right now, that's okay. And
Yeah.
it will be okay. It's figure outable. If you are in, there's the 988 hotline. If you need someone to talk to and you really don't think you have anyone, those people, you can even text that now. So if you're not comfortable talking, you can text that. There's 211, which is like a human resources line that you can call for help with groceries, heat, rent even. There are options out there. You're not alone. It's not the end of the road. It's gonna feel like that a lot, a lot. And you don't have to be swimming in money to be okay. I think right now, I think I got like $98 in my bank account. But we're okay. Our things are paid for. Money will come around. You don't have to be. People are lying on Facebook. Let me just start with that. People are lying about how happy they are and the amount of money that they have and
It's
how
a
the kids
highlight
behave and get
reel. It's a
along. They're
highlight
all
reel.
full of crap. But you don't have to shoot for that perfect life, all the money, all that stuff to be happy. I think just having, a solid group of people that you can talk to and a job that doesn't suck the life out of you is a really good place to start. So reach out to a person, to a hotline, whatever it is, just find somebody to talk to. I think that would be my biggest piece of advice. It's going to be okay. Just find someone to talk to.
I love that. And it is going to be okay. I mean,
Yeah.
we're living proof. People always talk about social proof. I mean,
Yeah.
we're both living proof. We had kids as teens and they're growing into incredible, incredible humans. Sometimes we want to wring their necks. I saw something the other day that said there's nothing more challenging than trying to beat you out of your child. So so I felt that. Well, Taylor, thank you so much. And you guys, if you would like to support Taylor in her incredible rescue, I'm going to put links in the description for how you can donate, get involved, connect, follow Taylor on socials. And I appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. Had a great
Yeah.
time.
Awesome. Thank you.